everyone, I am Tanisa Kistimaila and my friends from Group 6. We are going to explain about life rituals cycle.
Sampurasun, hai sadayana, abdi Wulandari, sareng biancang nanti kapok genep, bakal ngejelaskan ngenaan siklus ritual hirup.
Halo semuanya, saya Shafiyah Radella Justine dan teman-teman saya ingin menjelaskan tentang upacara daur hidup.
We'll give you information about what is the traditional Sundanese wedding ceremony. So the traditional Sundanese wedding ceremony is divided into three parts: before the marriage settlement or preluminal, the marriage settlement luminal, and after the marriage settlement postluminal. Each of these parts has a symbol and meaning. The Sundanese traditional marriage has adapted the values of Islamic religion that came in the 15th century in land of Sunda. Therefore, the Sundanese values and norms have been Islamization. This Islamization continues without eliminating Sundanese traditional values that do not contrast with Islamic values. The chronology of the traditional wedding ceremony is divided into three stages. It starts from the rituals before the marriage settlement, during the marriage settlement, and after the marriage settlement, or in functions literature known as preluminal, luminal, and postluminal. Luminal in Latin means doorway, so the preluminal is before the doorway, or preluminal. Meanwhile, the rituals after marriage settlement are categorized into postluminal. This marriage ritual always occurs in the rest of the life cycle, although the circumstances are not identically. Function divided into three categories. The first one is present for preluminal, the second one is transition to luminal, and the third one is incorporation for postluminal. So, I'm gonna tell you about what is preluminal. So, preluminal is, in the Sundanese traditional preluminal stage, the following rituals are known. First, Nenden Omongan, or the male family visit to the woman's parents to confess about his feeling and keep a promise. Or Nenden Talk, the male parents want to couple their child according to Hasan Mustafa. Some people usually send other people who can speak for the Nenden process. Second one, Ngelamar, means also known as Tanyaan or Nyerahan. The male parents come to propose to the girl. During the visit, it was also a sign that the date for the children's wedding. As closing ceremony, the male family gives a small amount of money to the parents of the girl as binder. Sometimes it is given with betel nut along with cake and fruit. From that moment, the girl was born and called an engaged person. The third one is Seserahan, means the male family gives their son to his parent-in-law so he can marry that girl. This event is usually attended by the closest family, the male family handing over some items such as money, clothes, jewels, and cosmetics. In this condition, the items that have been given also depend on the ability of the male family. The ceremony is held between 1 or 2 days before the wedding day. Some people held on the wedding day before the marriage settlement begins. The fourth one is Narasimhiraman, means aras is ritual to ask forgiveness for parents, usually by washing their parents' feet. Meanwhile, Siraman is a ceremony to bathe their couple by their parents and their karuhun, or elders. This ritual is a sign that this is the last chance for their parents to bathe their child. This event was held on their respective home. The fifth one is Ngayiksere. It means arranging the battle knot and linking it. This ritual is held 1 day before the wedding day. Its attendees are the bride and groom, the parents of the bride and the groom, and the adult invitees. This ritual is led by an elder. Equipment for this ritual such as battle nut, bunches of areca, nut, tobacco, kasang jinam or cloth, elecan, and other things. It all needed because it symbolized the married life. The Ngayiksere ritual is held to advise the couple about their view about life and how to live a household life based on ethics and religion, so the couple can live happily ever after. When we look further from the five rituals of the preluminal life cycle category, the ritual of Seserahan, Narasimhiraman, and Ngayiksere become a sign for the separation of a person's life from his or her adult life in their family to an adult life with his husband's or wife's family. Seserahan, symbolically giving a son to female family. It is a separation ritual by parents to their son. He is no longer stuck with his family but was given to another family, who will become a second family to him. Two other rituals, Narasimhiraman and Narasimhiraman, emphasize more on how the bride and bridegroom are given symbol of separation from their family of origin either in Narasimhiraman. They were also advised to be able to live their future life happily. The advice was given to them during the Ngoyak Surah ritual.
The marriage settlement is a ritual that becomes the starting point for transforming someone's life. From this, it can be seen that two people who are married will enter another phase of life and having a family. The marriage settlement ceremony is usually held at the mosque. The wedding officiant came and married the bride and groom. The bride and groom sit side by side, thanked by parents of the bride and groom. They sit opposite the wedding officiant, who's accompanied by two witnesses, and the invitees sit around. The sentence that's spoken by the wedding officiant is called ijab, while the greeting from the groom is called kabul or kabul. The procedure is like this. A. Wali recites Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Astaghfirullahaladzim 3 times. Read the Shahadah, Asyhadu alla ilaha illallah 3 times. Then he continues with a request to marry the person who is getting married. I ask for help to marry my son Nyai Tujang with a dowry of rupiah out or paid cash. I agree to marry Nyai Tujang and ask her taklik. B. The wedding officiant will answer, I accept. C. Then the wedding officiant reads the marriage sermon. D. After the sermon, he holds the thumbs of the groom and asks the audience to witness. E. The wedding officiant gave a greeting. Then he said, Jang, I married you to Nyai, your daughter, who represent her with a dowry of rupiah, out or paid in cash. F. The groom answered by saying, I accept Nyai's marriage to me with a dowry of rupiah, payable or paid in cash. G. Prayer reading by the married person. H. Recitation of talak by the groom. I. The groom then shakes hands with the bride, parents, parents-in-law, and other people who attend. J. The bride just came out of the room. She greeted her husband and other people as the husband did. Shaking hands with parents are usually made in a separate ritual, namely sungkeman. Sungkeman is done to the father and mother of both couples, with some pantun contain advice to the bride and groom that delivered by pantunis. They ask for forgiveness and prayers of blessing to live happily. Nowadays, most couples are in front of a wedding officiant before the marriage settlement. Mukmin Maulana said, the ceremony of the life cycle in Sundanese traditional marriage has been done for a long time in the Kanekes people. Then, Jaro Tangtu brought the groom to the bride's house. The two of them were juxtaposed. The bride and groom's thumbs are held by Jaro Tangtu and chanted. After that, Jaro Tangtu said, Tah tiki warima sagala rupa ge bagian, dia duaan. Well, from now on, all kinds of matters become part of the two of you. The transition cycles is very visible at the ceremony. The bride and groom are doing and preparing for the conditions in which the two of them no longer live with their families. The marriage settlement has transitioned them both to enter the next life cycle, having families. Next, postluminal. Some ceremonies are categorized as part of the regression process of reunification. In other language, referred to as part of incorporation progress. It could be seen as a process whereby the elder gives advice to the bride and groom that they can recreate more easily. The procedure that they will do are
A. Sawer or nyawer. The equipment needed is a bowl containing yellow rice, coins or metal, followers to tek or folded betelnut, and candy. In practice, the bride and groom sit in the yard under the roof or panyaweran. The ceremony is led by someone who do sawer called juru sawer. The juru sawer split the contents of the bowl to the bride and groom and the guest as a distraction from the lyrics song by himself. The meaning of the nyawer ceremony is expressed in the verse developed by the juru sawer. The point is to advise the bride and groom to love and pray for each other to get happiness in the household, living peacefully until the end of their lives.
B. Nincak endok. The ceremony did after the sawer ceremony, with some equipment such as a jug or candle, a bunch of harupat containing 7 sticks, a barera, tried with pollen woven cloth, an elegant raw chicken egg, a pitcher filled with water, and a pipisan stone. All of this equipment are symbolized something. All of this will be done with a process including 1. The bride and groom stand on the stairs face to face. The man is at the bottom of the stairs holding a candle. 2. Lighting the ajuk or candles. 3. The bride burns the tip of harupat, quench it, breaks it, then throw it away. 4. The groom steps on the egg and elegant until it breaks. 5. The foot where the egg has been stepped on it, washed by the bride, use water from the jug. 6. And the jug is immediately smashed into the ground until it breaks. C. Door opening ceremony. After the nincak ndok ceremony, the bride enters the house while the groom waits outside. The door will be opened after the groom has pronounced shahadat. The ceremony is usually represented by two pantunes who question and answer each other. It begins with 3 knocks from the groom's side, represented by the pantunes. After that, there are a question and answer contain advice, and end with the bride's request to read the 2 sentences of the shahadat. Advice read in the form of pupuh. When finished, then groom is allowed to enter the bride's house. D. Hua Plinkum Ceremony. The position of the bride and groom side by side. The woman to the left of the man. In front of them, there are 2 sticks of yellow rice made of sticky rice and bakakak ayam or roasted chicken breast halved. At first, the bride and groom hold the bakakak ayam and then pull each other into 2. Who gets the largest part, he will get a large fortune between them. Then, they embrace each other's hand behind the partner's shoulder. Then, they feed each other yellow sticky rice. The ceremony has become a symbol to a wife for serving her husband and advised to live happily. According to Anjani and Suryanto, several phases must be passed by both spouses while raising a family. 1. Honeymoon phase. 2. Reality recognition phase. 3. The marriage crisis phase. 4. The phase of accepting reality. 5. The phase of the true happiness of marriage. These phases can be passed well if A. Each spouse can give and receive love, expression of affection, mutual respect and appreciation, mutual openness between husband and wife. B. Each spouse can play its role well in addressing differences, family and community problems and dealing with them wisely together. The symbols that appear in the postluminal phase, where both parties begin to learn to play the roles of husband and wife, are advised and the initial process of regression in the Sundanese traditional marriage life cycle.
Okay, so the conclusion is, answering the previous problems, it can be seen that the Sundanese traditional wedding ceremony has various functions. Marriage is the beginning of the validity of husband and wife relationship in Islam and Sundanese customs. Thus, biologically, this ceremony is the beginning or the entrance to fulfill biological needs, such as the food or procreation. In the procession of the marriage ceremony, both parties fall into the theological domain as well as the law that underlies the legality of becoming husband and wife. Thus, instrumental needs, such as the need for love, are included. Because the ritual ceremony is performance, in this traditional marriage ceremony, the performance of religion and cultural arts, both pandan and other symbols, cannot be separated. The symbols in the above ceremony can conclude as A. Social ceremony, means advising the bride and groom to have social awareness. Life isn't mean material success for themselves and the family will be, but also to those who need it. B. Opening the door ceremony, means giving religious advice. The theological values are the main thing in starting a relationship. C. Nincak and dog ceremony, means advising to each couple so they can play their role as well as possible. Male as a husband and head of the family, or a girl as a wife and mother. The Hua Plinkum Ceremony means advising each spouse to give and receive love from each other, express affection, mutual respect, and upon openness to each other. From the brief description above, it can be said symbols in the traditional wedding ceremony in the postluminal phase provide a good impulse so that the marriage can be done as well as possible.
Sadaya natin orang ngajelaskan ngenaan siklus ritual kehidupan. Sampurasun.
Thanks for watching.